D1NZ Pro Sport is an exciting new competition class for drifting in New Zealand. Formerly known as the D1NZ Pro-Am Development Series, the D1 Rookie class has been a breeding ground for new and up-and-coming drivers, a feeder class to the Pro Championship.
Returning for his second season, Chad Mackenzie brings his 2JZ Toyota-powered R32 Skyline.
Mackenzie comes into round one fresh off the back of a podium finish at last year's Grand Final.
So we pretty much kept it the same as last season. Done a few little bits and pieces to the motor, pulled a few more horsepower out of it, changed it to E85 and made it a bit more angry.
D1NZ Pro Sport features a 235mm wide control tyre restriction used to limit horsepower output and overdevelopment of engines in the category, a regulation that has been implemented for a number of years in the Pro-Am category with great success.
It's my second season starting in Pro Sport, Pro-Am as it was last year, so it's good to be back here at round one in Mansfield, so yeah.
Ben Jenkins in the Brian Roberts towing Nissan S13 is another driver with fresh confidence coming into the new season. After a podium finish at Pukekohe Park Raceway, his brother Troy Jenkins also graduating from the Pro-Am Development Series, winning the class last year.
Bex Bennett is the only female in the Pro Sport category campaigning the Custom Motorsports R32 Skyline.
This is my fourth season, but we're hoping to get a few podiums this season and to be able to step up to Pro next year.
Time now to take a look at the highlights from round one of the Pro Sport Series at Mansfield, and Chad Mackenzie topped qualifying in pole position with an 84.5 from Cody Pullenbury on a 71. Blair Gribble-Bowring good enough for third. Now Steve, coming into the round, it was all about the wet conditions.
That's right, Kenny. Everybody's struggling with a wet track, proving entertaining for those watching, but possibly not for some of those drivers out there on the track.
One of those drivers was John O'Gorman in the Link ECU S15 that put Jonathan Bennett through to the top 8. Here Taylor Ford from Australia and Tyler Rennell doing battle. Tyler Rennell would do enough in the chase to take victory through to the top 8 as well.
Series newcomer Raven Robinson and Taurang's Calvin Clark went OMT after both drivers spun out in the top 16 battle. Clark going on to win this battle, moving into the top 8 after Robinson spins again in his V8 Silvia.
Top qualifier Chad Mackenzie benefited from a bye run in the top 16. He then lined up against Ben Jenkins in the top 8. The Brian Roberts towing Nissan S13 wasn't good enough though. Chad Mackenzie in the Toyota 2JZ taking victory.
Showers continued through the day, even experienced drivers struggling to keep their cars on the black stuff. Calvin Clark eventually taking victory over Vincent Hopkins.
Yeah, that's right, Vincent Hopkins unfortunately in the Tyre Doctor R32 taking a spin yet again as the battle went OMT and ended up in the sand trap. Cody Pullenbury losing out against Blair Gribble-Bowring. Both of these newcomers to the series, Blair going through to the final.
Chad Mackenzie's charge to the top spot came to an end at the hands of Calvin Clark's Prime Avocados C33 Laurel.
This put Chad Mackenzie and Cody Pullenbury through to the battle for third and fourth. Chad Mackenzie holding a very good lead lap. The SR20 powered Nissan S15 swimming in the rear. Chad Mackenzie putting his foot down and putting plenty of smoke out the back of that 2JZ powered R32 Skyline. And it all went wrong here again for Cody Pullenbury. Unfortunately dropping a wheel. It was another points deduction. Chad Mackenzie looking very strong heading into the second pass. Cody Pullenbury unfortunately losing a bumper in the second pass, and the drying track conditions proving to be more of a headache as the wet setups couldn't cope. Chad Mackenzie managing to hold on to third place on the podium.
The final battle of the weekend for the Pro Sport Championship saw Blair Gribble-Bowring battling Calvin Clark.
That's right, the LS1 powered V8 S14 out in front, newcomer to the series, being hunted down by a series veteran Calvin Clark in the Prime Avocado C33. He tried to go for the up the inside pass here, and it really didn't set him up very well for the rest of the section. Big straight line, big points deduction, and Blair looking very strong in the first lap.
Now Calvin Clark will need to lay down an impressive lap in the second pass of the final or force Gribble-Bowring to spin.
That's right, Calvin Clark out in front, the Prime Avocado C33. He almost got handed a lifeline here, a big correction from Blair. Blair knows it. He had to recover. Calvin Clark trying to do everything he can to hold on a good lap here, but unfortunately it just couldn't stick. Blair putting on another correction, but with that straight line and dirt drop from the first pass, Blair Gribble-Bowring would hold victory over Calvin Clark. And I'll tell you what, stepping up from the grassroots and taking his debut victory on competition debut in the JWB Group LS1 V8 powered Sylvia is an impressive achievement, standing on top of the podium alongside Calvin Clark and Chad Mackenzie.
Download the Oversteer TV mobile app, free on Google Play.